Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin and what's been going on most recently, what we think is likely to be happening next, and all that wonderful stuff. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us to Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link is in the description below. Right, let's get right down into this video. This is actually the second time I'm recording this video. My computer decided to crash just as I was finishing off the last video, and I do a one-take thing, so yeah, I lost that entire recording. So this is going to be the second time through for me, so I may skip over some stuff, and I apologize for that, just in case I forget to mention things I thought I've already mentioned 5 minutes ago when I actually haven't done. So bear with me. I'm going to try to regurgitate everything that I've just been through and let you know what's going on with Bitcoin. So here we have BTC paired up with USDT. We're on the BitGet spot exchange on the 1 hour time frame. Following on from yesterday, we had a glitch on YouTube where basically my video failed to go out. Anyway, I created a member video, so anyone who is a member will know what was going on yesterday. But we basically topped up into our range as expected, which is basically between 31,417 and 31,715. This is something we've been talking about for the last few days, so hopefully it wasn't terribly too unusual that price moved up there. Now, it did move up more aggressively than expected. It actually finished off in a 5-wave pattern, basically topping up into that area. Now, that aggressive movement over like a few hours was almost immediately turned into a negative dump on the market, right? And we can see that we broke down even lower here. Now, the interesting thing about these structures is that we have a 5-wave pattern going up. So we have ourselves a 5-wave pattern right in here. And we also have ourselves a 5-wave pattern coming down here. Now, that is not allowed. Let me find some empty space here, right? We're not allowed to kind of go like this. We can't go up 5 waves and down in 5 waves like this in a single structure, right? So we can't think A, B, C or anything like that. We can't go, oh, look, it's A, it's, if I can click this button, A, B, C. It's nothing like that. That doesn't work, right? No structure has 2 5-wave structures next to each other, okay? So we know that this is the end of one structure and this is the beginning of another, okay? Bringing up some more space here. So when we have a beginning of a structure starting in 5 waves, well, if we start with 5 waves, we must end in 5 waves, okay? So our expectation will be a 5, 3, 5. Right, 5 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down. Minimum expectation. Can obviously go into a 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, but that's an argument and a discussion for another day. This means that because we've completed 5 waves to the downside here, our expectation is that we have an ABC structure here. And you can already see that we're starting to move down a little bit on our 1 hour time frame. So our expectation is going to be that we have an ABC structure. But this ABC structure can, of course, be a 5, 3, 5 in itself, meaning that we could potentially see a 5-wave structure move upwards, a 3-wave structure move on down, and it should be relatively deep, and then another 5-wave structure to the upside, right? So it's important that we understand that that's also a technical possibility here, because it is still a 3-wave pattern inside of our 3-wave pattern, our 5, 3, 5, right? And so we've got to be cautious, because yes, we know that there's another 5-wave move to the downside due. It's possible that we've also completed this 3-wave move right in here. Okay, like that, and it's very possible that that's also occurred. What we want to do is we need to pay attention to these microstructures and understand what the most probable scenario is. The most probable scenario is that we are likely to see a bigger move to the upside based on the fact that the daily is oversold, the 8 hours oversold, the 4 hours oversold, right? So we know that these timeframes are looking for a move to the upside. Even this hourly chart just looks for a micro movement down. So my expectations are that we're probably going to be revisiting this slightly higher range where there's a fair value gap. The fair value gap currently sits up here at $30,882 and $31,063, right? And so this is just above equilibrium, above the 50 and 200 EMAs. You also can see up here, right inside our yellow box range over this side of area of consolidation. I'm going to actually remove this because it's just cluttering up the chart at the moment. So for the most part, that's kind of the expectation. The expectation here is that we move up, and then we drop back down again and we go down lower than the 29,721 that we hit the other day or yesterday. Actually, it was this morning at 1 a.m. And we can see the higher end of 31,510. That should hold. Okay, so if that holds, then everything should be good. Now, let's talk about one of those potential scenarios where this is an incorrect count and the incorrect way to look at the market, okay? Because this is only one out of a handful of possibilities, right? This is the most probable possibility, I think, in my mind. But there is a potential structure that is it's called a running flat correction. And this running flat correction happens to start over here on the 30th of June, comes down in on A wave. All of this move up here yesterday is the top of our B wave, which is higher than our origin of our A wave. And then a 5-wave drop to the downside is the C wave, failing to go down lower than the A wave. This is what is called a running flat correction. Let me show you this without all the clutter. Okay, so a running flat correction is something that looks like that, okay? And you can see that if I draw some lines in here, that the B wave goes up higher than the A wave, and the C wave fails to go down lower than the A wave. Okay, it looks like that. Now, the thing with a running flat correction is essentially its makeup is going to be 3 waves here, 3 waves in the middle, and 5 waves over there. Those are 3s for those who really have no idea what I'm drawing, because it doesn't look like a 3. So 3, 3, 5 is kind of the way that would go, right? So that's a running flat correction. The same way that you'd have an irregular flat correction looks like that. It goes down below the A wave. So the difference between a running flat and an irregular flat is literally the length of that 5-wave structure. And all flat corrections must end in 5 waves, right? So we know that that's a possibility. So it's a possibility that we're in a flat correction, although a low possibility of it, but possible nonetheless. So 2 kind of real options that I see in my head. One, that we've completed this as a low point for a running flat correction, and with our 335 correction coming in at the end here, and that C wave also has that 335 scenario in it, meaning that that 5-wave move to the upside here, where you can't have 5 and 5 waves next to each other, is actually voided by the fact that actually it's a B wave structure ending in 5 waves and a C wave structure starting with 5 waves. That is technically a possibility. Okay, so understanding that that's also something that we need to be mindful of. Although for the most part, I believe that actually we're going to come down lower than $29,721 before we actually start the next break to the upside. Because if we come to our daily time frame, well, we can see here that actually if we just test our lower trend line again, we're going to be in this ranging market that we've been stuck in, although slightly expanding. Basically just test that low range and then we'll get that break to the upside. How high does that break go to the upside? Well, obviously the areas of interest that I've been talking about for quite some time are the CME gaps. If I come over into our CME chart here, you can see that our futures chart has a CME gap at the 34,455 to 35,180 level, and then from there essentially I see a breakdown more towards the 20,330 to 21,110, another CME gap. And of course you can let me know in the comments below if you think the CME gap down here at the 9,735 to 9,925 is a possibility. I'll leave that one for you guys. To me, it's definitely possible, but it would require a big shock to the market. Now, I'm, I guess, well known on the YouTube world of crypto for the belief of a new lower low for Bitcoin. Now, this I am starting to waver from ever so slightly. Not to say that new lower lows isn't coming for altcoins, because I think that's an inevitability. If Bitcoin hits $20,000, which I think is a pretty healthy correction, then we should be expecting many altcoins to continue their bearish structures and continue to hit their lower lows. However, Bitcoin, there's a lot of positivity going on with BTC, specifically with the ETFs and BlackRock specifically to those ETFs. I think it's incredibly likely that that is going to get approved. And as such, that is going to basically change a lot of the negativity that I have towards Bitcoin at the moment. I think that's going to change at a fundamental level the amount of inflows that we're going to see from fiat onboarding onto BTC, and so that's going to be a major changer, a major game changer, in fact, for Bitcoin. So I think that alone, if it gets approved, could prevent a lot of the requirements or the ideas of new lower lows for BTC. And not to say that they're impossible, as I don't think they are. I just think that this does change what my original thoughts were with regards to the fact that Bitcoin looks like it needs to go down into a lower low. And what we might find that 20k is that new accumulation point for large investors. It'll be interesting to kind of see how everything unfolds. And the other caveat to this is there isn't an immediate future where we see the ETF, right? Just the application, and if the application gets approved in the next 6 months, a year, who knows, right? I don't know who's got a timeline on that. But for the most part, that could bring some pretty interesting levels of adoption for Bitcoin. And so as such, we might start to see some interesting changes within the underlying data. And that's really what I mean by saying it could be a game changer, because it could change my bearish outlooks and what the data is currently suggesting with regards to large investors avoiding BTC at the moment. It'd be interesting to kind of see how this plays out though. I think for the most part though, guys, that's everything I've got covered off in today's video. If I've missed anything, I will apologize. If you found it useful, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, and don't forget to join us down in Discord, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.